Salam. This is Prince Charles Amun of Israel, Indiana, and the Temple of Amun. Just bringing you more education and more history. Tonight we have with us King Binyam Selamun, His Royal Highness of Israel and the Lemba Kingdom. Salam. Are you there with us today?
Salam to you. Salam to the Prince, the Court, and Royal Personage, Prince Amun, Charles Amun of the House of Amun, the House of Israel, Lemba, in Indianapolis, and to the executive body, and to the royal family, and the royal house, and all royal personages. Honorable treat with salam.
Salam. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. So this is I Am Lemba Part 2. So we just want to welcome everyone to this forum. We love you. It is our honor, it is our duty to serve you in this capacity. So we're just going to go right in with His Royal Highness King Binyam Selamun. Please share with us your credentials as King and educator of the Lemba people of Israel.
Islam, thank you for this very important question. Thank you very much. Maybe lots of people have heard about royalty and monarchy and where the
It seems that we're having technical difficulties with the sound. Please stand by and be patient with us. Thank
you. Even according to biblical record, the people that came from Israel and they have been identified as Hebrew children. And so I was born within the royal family of the Lemba Israel people as a nation. And so my father was a king of Lemba Israel long before I was born. In fact, my ancestors were kings in the royal family. So this has given me ample recognition and high credentials of succeeding my ancestors. That after them, I come take the position because it's the hierarchy that is within the culture and the customs of Israel. That one becomes a king because he inherits this from his forefathers. His ancestors should have been kings before. So this is inherited and passed from generation to generation. This has given me enough credibility to say to everybody, here is the son of the royal personage taking responsibility to lead the children of Lemba Israel.
Thank you very much.
Out of great responsibility and pride.
Thank you. Could you share with us what country or region this birthright is from?
Yes. Israel people are spread, first of all, I must make this point that they're spread all over the world because of the scattering of the children of Israel. But they are actually small pockets and more concentrated pockets of them in Ethiopia and South Africa. So these are two outstanding places of the location of the settlement of Israel or Lemba Israel people. And so I was within the group that went to Ethiopia from Yemen, my ancestors, my grandfather particularly. And so in the 16th century, we were able to move, my grandfather was able to move to Southern Africa. So therefore we left some of our brothers in Ethiopia while we moved further south of the continent in our migration. So then I followed up the group that went to Southern Africa. So then I ended up being in South Africa, the country. So this is where the monarchy was very strong. except for Ethiopia, where it was the Gideon dynasty that was more important. But the Solomonic dynasty actually moved further south to the continent of Africa. So I have emerged from South Africa, the Republic, because the Solomonic dynasty made a mark in South Africa more than it did in Ethiopia in recent years.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very informative, and I know you were not finished answering that, but there are a few things that I happened to hear during your description. You mentioned Selamun. Is there a word that most people are more familiar with? Can we say Solomon? Selamun?
Yes, this is a very interesting question, because the word contains the affirmation of Amun inside it. So it is the Selamun, the Salam, which is the peace, and the Amun, which affirms the peace. That this peace is true, that is in existence. So the word Selamun itself should have the spelling of Amun in the ending of it, to denote the fact that the person has an affirmation at the end to say Amun, which means true or truly there is peace.
Yes.
That's what it means. And so therefore it is a very important word, because this Amun is the most important ancestor of Lemba people. There was a man by that name, and he was a chief ancestral spirit and very powerful. And according to Western understanding, this is a god.
So yes, that is a very good description and a very good start to I Am Lemba Part 3. I just want to repeat the next two questions on our agenda. What is the difference between a Lemba and a black Jew? And number 3, what is the difference between Israel and Esrael? So let's go back to number 2. What is the difference between a Lemba and a black Jew? Please continue.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a very important question. Yeah, a black Jew. Let's start with the black Jew. There are many people out there calling themselves black Jew because they are black, their color is black, but they happen to become Jews. And in that way, the classification is that they are Jews, because when you talk about Jew, you are speaking about people who have converted to a religion called Judaism. And so if anyone converts to this religion called Judaism, he becomes a Jew. And so this was not so common with people of color or so-called black people, because this religion originated in Europe, where there were no black people originally. And so that if black people become converts of the religion of Judaism, which will turn them into Jews, then they can be called black Jews, just to make it clear that these are Jews, but of another nation, which is not European, which is not called white people at all. So therefore this makes them to be called black Jews, and this does not mean Lemba. So Lemba is a different thing completely from a religious community, because it's not a religious thing, but rather a cultural and national thing. And so therefore there is a big difference here, that someone comes from a certain culture and someone converts to a religion and becomes a member of that religion, or a convert of the religion, and then he's called a Jew. If he is of black color, then he's a black Jew, because usually many people of color or black people are not usually Jews, because the religion originally comes from European people that are so-called white people.
Yes, thank you very much. That brings a couple questions to mind. Now, you and I are in two different countries. And when you say black Jew, I know that primarily refers to the Ethiopian people. But in America, we have what is called Black Hebrew Israelites. From my research, that is the exact same as a black Jew, because they both use the Torah, the Tanakh, the Old Testament.
We need to bring the point. Yes. Yes, because, both, now we can compare the black Jew and the black Hebrew Israelite. Yes, then we could have approximately around 3 groups here. Yeah, that may have something basic, something fundamental, is that they seem to follow what we call the Torah, which in Better Israel we call it the Orit, which is the precepts that we receive from our God according to our own writings, which are sacred writings called the ancestor Sambat, which means the precepts of the Sambat, which talk about the patriarchs of Better Israel, particularly about Moses. But the black Hebrew Israelite do not want to be part of, to be called the Jewish religion, because they think they are not converts to a religion. They are trying to cultivate their culture. And if they look at their own history and their own origins and their experiences, they relate more to their own experiences than they do to any religious conversion. And so with the Lemba, then it comes very clear that the people calling themselves Black Hebrew Israelite are actually Lemba in a traditional sense. Yeah, expect the fact that they're trying to define themselves, because they may not have much information about being Lemba themselves. But if we're to face the realities in a traditional sense, those who are calling themselves Black Hebrew Israelite today, they're actually the sons of Selamun that I talked about before. They're actually sons of Amun. That they may not be aware of this, they may call it something else, but in the final analysis, it comes back to being a Lemba descendant.
This is very interesting that you would explain it like that, and I'm so glad that you did, because at one time I was an Israelite. And I later learned that the name of a people should tie them back to a land, a label, and a language. So for us, for me, this is my personal view. For me to be in America, I cannot call myself an Israelite, because that would make me an Israeli citizen, which I am not. So I'm so glad that you said Selamun, because we have also studied ancient Egyptian and ancient Ethiopian history through books by writers. One of the books I read was When Africa Ruled the East. And this is a book that explains how Arabia and what modern day Babylon, modern day Iraq, Iran, Turkey were once African colonies. And so another thing that I've learned over the years studying Better Israel history is that, in my opinion, Better Israel represents the best of African history, kept in oral tradition by the people called Lemba. Is that true?
In fact, there has been misunderstanding here. I'm glad you brought this up, because when we say Better Israel, most people think you're talking about the Ethiopian Lembas or only the Ethiopian community. Yeah, but this does not necessarily mean this, because it is trying to, it's like a title. It's like, it's not like a proper name actually. It is like the house of Israel, the nation that came from a certain man. from a certain lineage. So this does not necessarily speak about Ethiopia, because the people think that when you say Better Israel, then you're not talking about the rest of the Lemba. But there was a split. There was a split of the Lemba people into groups. Some groups went to Ethiopia, some went to Tanzania, some went to the Great Lakes, which will involve Congo and Tanzania and the other places for the Great Lakes. This is where we have another story of another group. So there were different groups of Lemba people. So the word Lemba becomes more original than the name Better Israel, because most of the time the people identify Better Israel only with Ethiopian community. Yeah, so that's where the confusion is, because you see, these are all Lembas going into different groups. Yes, so that is why the confusion is so big, because most of the activities of Israel, how Israel was behaving towards the Lemba, was that it actually took the Ethiopian Lembas to Israel, yeah, and then became the blueprint. And so therefore, in this case, this is one nation called Lemba going into different groups and having different names. Yes.
So what I can surmise from your answers, you almost answered the third question. What is the difference between Israel and Esrael? When we look at these two names, when we see Israel, we know that's related to the land of Israel, where a lot of Ethiopian Jews do go as a form of pilgrimage, and some of them even want to live there as a promise in the ancient covenant from the Torah. Then we have Esrael, and from our research, you can correct me at any time. From our research, Ezra means one to unite. So we have a land and we have one to unite. It seems as though you made a plain difference between the Lemba and the Beta Israel. The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of African Americans in the quote unquote conscious community have studied Dr. Yusuf bin Yochanan, and he was an Ethiopian philosopher, but he said he was Beta Israel. But in his teachings of his entire career, he explained the correlation between Southeast Africa up the Nile River and up into Egyptian civilization, and he did not draw a distinction between the Egyptians, the Sudanese, the Ethiopians, the people from Uganda and South Africa. So I said all that to say, back to what I mentioned earlier, how Beta Israel seems to, or the Lemba culture seems to encompass the best of African history. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Yusuf bin Yochanan or not, but if you care to speak on that.
Yeah, you see, because of the fact that the history has been made to look like they are different nations emerging from Israel and they are not the same, and so therefore the word Lemba was not popularly used. It was just like, even at some point the people thought that Lemba was a tribe, and so that became a problem, because that was not the case. So the thing that confused most people was that they didn't understand that Ezra, the high priest, the warrior priest, his name means the helper. And if you say Israel, because he was like a warrior ruler, the priest was a ruler, was a king, and then if you say he is Israel, you are saying he is ruling with God. He's like ruling at the same time with the ancestor or the chief ancestral spirit or God, according to the understanding of the Western world. Because the Western world understands the word God. We don't use it so much, as I said. And so, if you can realize that according to the story, it was Ezra who was there to bring the exiles back. Now, if you look at it from that sense, you could find that it's only a certain group of them, but not the entire group.
Okay, let me stop you right there, just to ask you for a particular date or dynasty, a particular geographical area, and a time period, so that some of our scholars. Some of our scholars can research exactly what you're saying.
Yes, I'm going to do that because this is where the confusion is. The confusion is, when did this happen and when did this group reach this land and when did they settle here? Now, we talk about Beta Israel as the sons of Saba and Queen of Saba and Queen Solomon. Yeah, that we are talking about maybe like 900 BC, you know. And then when we talk about the Babylonian activity, we are talking about 580 BC. And unfortunately, the history after the siege of Jerusalem and the exile to Babylon seems to be the most known history of the Lemba Beta Israel or of the Lemba people or the children of Saba. Yeah, but now if you follow the story from 580 BC or 40 years before the siege of Jerusalem, which makes it like around 600 and something BC, then you are talking about a different story of that time. But if you go beyond, then you come to the time of Solomon and the Queen of Saba, which is around 900 BC. But if you talk about the patriarch Saba's existence in either Jordan or Yemen, we are talking about beyond 2000 BC. Or even time immemorial, or an infinite past. So which means it makes the Sabians, who are actually the ancestors of the people called Lemba, to be more ancient than we think. But the story that we have today is the story that is most common story about them, is the story after the siege of Jerusalem, which is between 580 BC and 600 BC.
Let's stop right there. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you.
His Royal Highness King Binyam, Selamun. Yes, we want our listeners to know that we do apologize for interrupting His Royal Highness during our question and answer. It's due to time restraints. Please understand that.
So arm in arms with arms, we'll fight this little struggle, yes, 'cause that's the only way we can overcome a little trouble. Brother, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're so right. We gon' fight, we gonna fight, we love to fight, fighting for right. Mash it up in a, set it up in a,
Salam, salam.
Salam, salam. We're right back.
Yes. So, I'm going to stop that right there.
You're welcome.
Okay, here we go.
And we know that we are in Selamun. Yes. We're in Selamun, all children of better Israel, Selamun to all of them. This is very important. We're coming to know ourselves and our history, where we came from.
So we want to thank you for your time, and we look forward to speaking with you and doing the interview of I Am Lemba Part 4. Please close out the show.
Salam to everyone. Thank you for listening to this part, and we are so glad that you're able to understand and learn for yourself and also do the research for yourself. This is the real truth of who you are and the true identity of the children of Israel, of Lemba. So we look forward to seeing you even in the other part. But this important information should resonate with you every day.